Thank you for being here. I guess I'm ready for a change. The question I have has to do with living on the edge. I have become expert at it and have finally realized that I'm really a drama queen. So there are moments when I see the magic and I can make the most extraordinary magic happen, but it's always 2 inches from the wall. And so I'm trying to...
Well, you know what that's about. Esther says that, or has said it, not so much anymore, that she shines in a crisis. And
Yes.
we explained to her that the reason that she does that is that the crisis causes her to focus. And when she focuses, she summons powerful energy. And there is a little drama in that. You're used to getting your marks on the chart from fixing things that are broken.
Yes.
And so, even today, in a gathering as enlightened and as evolved as this one, if you were to tell us a story of great sadness and struggle from which you achieved triumph, the crowd would stand to its feet. Because there's something exciting, more exciting about being in a really deep hole and digging yourself out than to just be living happily ever after. They don't write movies or books out of people that just live happily ever after. Mm-hmm. They ought to.
Is there a way to keep the excitement of the magic without pushing it so far?
No. Well, we have to explain it to you. When you desire something, and you're very far away from it vibrationally, the idea of it just knocks your socks off. You say things like, if that would happen, I would be the happiest person in the world. But by the time you're in a vibrational place where you're ready to let it in, it's like the next logical step. Esther commented to Jerry the other day, they've just ordered a new motor coach, and it's the one Esther's been wanting from the time she saw her first moving vehicle. She has been dreaming for this as many years as she can remember, and now they've ordered it. They're going to pick it up in February. And Esther said to Jerry, it feels like the next logical step. I want it to turn me inside out. I want it to take my breath away. I want it to keep me awake at night. But instead, it feels like the next logical step. 20 years ago, when I really, 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 really wanted it, the idea of getting it would have sent me into orbit, would have sent me into ecstasy. But she wasn't vibrationally even close to it then, you see. And now she's in a vibrational place where it's the next logical step. She doesn't get the buzz from it. So what you're talking about is, how can I keep myself excited about what's coming without there being such a difference in the vibration between where I am and where it is that I hold myself apart from it? And we say what we do is we stay focused and exhilarated about the laws that we know. We stay exhilarated in the idea that there is nothing that we cannot be or do or have. We stay exhilarated in the idea that source energy is flowing at all times and we have access to it and we can utilize it in whatever way we want. You just have to work your mind into a place that keeps you in that excited but not so excited that you are not believing what you are wanting. In years before Jerry met us, he said, set your goals out there far enough that they excite you, but not so far that they discourage you.
Yes.
In other words, he had learned that if you want it enough that you'll focus upon it, it's in a good place. But if you want something that is so far outside your ability to believe it, now you're stretching yourself too far. And today we say, be as specific as you can be about what you want and still feel good. So you can tell when you are asking for something that you don't believe. And so your work is just to bring yourself into vibrational alignment with it. The reason that we answered the question so bluntly and boldly in the way that we did is that as soon as you come into alignment, then it seems like the next logical step. And you can't have it both ways. You can't be out of alignment and in alignment with it at the same time. And it's that little edge of being out of alignment that makes it feel so exciting. And when you're in alignment with it, then you say, oh yeah, I knew that was coming.
What makes me continue to get just to that point, like Sisyphus, and then back up? or back off. You know, I visited family this weekend, and I thought it had something to do with that in terms of reacting to or being different from.
Well, good. Now let's talk about this, and it's wonderful that you bring this up. We are certain that this analogy was inspired from that broader part of your knowing, and we're going to flesh it out here so that you can really get a sense of this. Esther laughed, talking about going home some time ago, and she said, "Oh, I know what that feeling of homesick is. That's that feeling when home makes you sick." And she was being playful about it, but once she began to talk with us about it, we said to her that what that feeling of nostalgia is, and what that sort of homesick feeling is that when you go home, the surroundings and the people and the things you talk about and even the fragrances activate within you a vibration that is reminiscent of who you once were. And the vibration of who you were and the vibration of who you are is in conflict. And that's what that feeling is about, you see. And so it's interesting that you bring going home and family up with this feeling of being almost there but not quite letting it in, because it's the same feeling of discord that you are describing.
Yes.
And that's why we want you to think your thoughts with one goal in mind. How does this thought feel? We watched Esther as she drove across this magnificent vista yesterday, and she would get on a train of thought that was pleasing to her, and then she would just milk it, mile after mile after mile after mile. And as soon as it had played out with as much detail as she could get from it, then she would scurry around in her mind for another thought that felt as good. Just determined to hold herself in that good feeling place for no other reason than it feels good to be in that good feeling place. She wasn't trying to save the world or fix the world or motivate the world or change the ideas in the White House. She wasn't trying to do anything other than manage her alignment with self. So that's our encouragement to all of you. That's what really life is about. Your now moment, which is where all of your power is the juncture where you meet you. And the you that you're meeting is a fabulously, brilliantly good feeling you. And sometimes you have to work to achieve alignment with that. Sometimes you have to love yourself when somebody's looking at you and doesn't seem to be loving you. Sometimes you have to love somebody else when they've done something that is pretty unlovable. Sometimes you have to avert your eyes and look someplace where you can feel good, because what's in your face doesn't feel good. But you have to care so much more about this relationship between you and you than you do about any other relationship or any other thing. That's the driving, motivating influence within you. And when you get that done, they'll call you a brat. They will.
This is true.
Because they don't get it. They don't understand. You can't get sick enough to make them well. You can't get poor enough to help them have more prosperity. You can't get confused enough to bring them clarity. In other words, you can't fix them from your place of not being that which they are striving for. You can only be all that you can be. And through the clarity of your example, you may inspire some of them to reach for something more. Now here's the other piece that all dovetails together with what you're asking about. This is the answer that you're looking for. You feel guilty about thriving when others that you love don't come with you. Yes. So you sort of work to hold yourself not too far from where they are. You feeling how this all fits together? Because you're a teacher. You're a teacher that wants to uplift. And so part of you knows that there is no limit for you, and another part of you doesn't want to get too far ahead of those that you are trying to teach and guide. Right. And now you understand all of that. You can be anywhere and not be unhappy. Or you can jump far ahead of where they are and still understand that you still can lead them, you see. The message that we would like to give to you and so many teachers who are here in this room today is that if they don't receive their upliftment from you and they are seeking upliftment, the universe will deliver to them someone from whom they can take their light. You do not have to be all things to all people. It's not your job, you see. So When you decide that your job is to align with who you are, and then trust that law of attraction will line you up with anybody who will benefit by your alignment, and line them up with anybody who's more appropriate for them, you just don't have to manage all of that. You cannot be all things to all people, but you can be what you need to be to align with who you are. And you can tell when you're doing that.
Yes.
So the thing that is so confusing for so many of you teachers is that you want them to thrive, and you focus upon them and they're not thriving. Then you lose your connection, and then for a while you stumble along with them. And then you regain your balance, and you get back in alignment, and things start going better for you, but then you notice they're not coming along. So you look back, and then you stumble again, you see. You've got to not worry so much about what anybody else is doing, and let your primary concern be, how joyful are you in this moment? And what you'll discover is you will lead them through your joy, and you cannot lead them through your pain, or through your empathy, or through your sympathy, or through your concern, or through your worry, or through your awareness that they are not where they want to be. So, if we were standing in any of your physical shoes, we would announce to everyone who is near us, nothing is more important than that I feel good. So I've chosen to think only good thoughts about you. They'll say, well, that won't be hard to take. And then you say, which is going to require a certain amount of detachment on my part from you. I'm going to be detaching from your complaining, and from your worrying, and from your fearing, and from your wanting me to fix things. And I'm going to be focusing powerfully on your self-empowerment, your success, your well-being, and your thriving. So, if you're in a complaining mood, I won't be a good sounding board. Because when I'm not with you, I'm making long lists of things that are going well for you. And that's the part of you that I'm activating in me. So, if things aren't going well for you, it'll be a really freakish thing if the universe even lines us up together. If you show up in my experience while you're complaining, I will admit that I will have to have rendezvoused with you on some point. But then, friend, I'm sorry, then it's all going to be about me. Because the fact that I've rendezvoused with you while you're complaining means I got some cleaning up in my vibration to do. And I'm going to go right to work on it. And I will be able to understand my success when you never again show your complaining face to me. I'm sorry, you can say to them, if you don't think I'm there for you, when the truth of it is, I'm always going to be there for you. I'm going to be dreaming your very best dreams about you. I'm going to be expecting the very best for you. I'm going to make lists every day of the wonderful aspects of your life experience. And I'm hoping we can thrive together. It's my plan to thrive. It's what I wish for you too. And those that aren't ready for that will say, goodbye. I need a friend who I can complain to. I need a friend that I can commiserate with. And then they may announce to others that you know, she's not there for me anymore. And we say, good.
Thank you so much.